It takes me about 15 minutes to do my entire bookkeeping for my own company, and I figured I would do it here with you guys because look at this view. Tell me there is not a more beautiful place to do your bookkeeping than on this balcony. Hello YouTube. I am here on the beautiful island of Baros in Greece. My husband is inside taking a nap, and I thought that this would be a great opportunity to do my bookkeeping for the month of July. I haven't done it yet. It is very, very windy. I apologize if the wind is trying to catch up with the mic, but let's dive in together. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do to make my bookkeeping really fast is I'm gonna go into every business credit card and bank account that I have. I'm going to download the transactions just for the time period that I want to a CSV file. Okay, so this is my Chase Inc. credit card. I'm going to do search. I'm going to go time period, specific date range, and I'm going to say I want them for July 1st to July 31st, and I'm going to search. And now here are all of the transactions. It's really not that many for this card. What I'm going to do is click download, and I'm going to make sure that it is a CSV file, and I'm going to click download. Okay, so now I'm gonna go in and download all the other cards and bank feeds that I have. Currently, I only use 2 business credit cards and 1 bank account, so it should be pretty fast. Okay, so on my Amex card, I also have an Amex card. I don't really use it that much. There's only 2 transactions for the month of July, so I'm just gonna enter those in manually. I'm not even gonna download the CSV file. So the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come over to my profit and loss sheet that I have created that I use with myself and that I give to all of my clients. And what I'm going to do is start entering in all of my expenses for the month of July. As you can see, there's kind of like 3 areas for this spreadsheet. There's the create your spending plan for July. This is where I see what is the business planning on spending. So you can see I was planning on spending $62,400 with $10,000 for ads, $3,000 for Stripe fees, et cetera, right? And then what is the business planning on making? I did this on the 1st of July. So I kind of looked at my projections. What am I projecting to bring in? Just to make sure at the beginning of the month, am I on track to be profitable-ish? If so, great. If not, that's a red flag at the beginning of July instead of the end of July. Now that it's actually the end of August, I should be doing my August bookkeeping soon, I'm gonna see how I ended up doing. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I'm going to import those transactions that we just downloaded into this spreadsheet on my little scratch pad paper. Okay, so I'm gonna go to upload. I'm gonna grab one of these guys and upload it. It's gonna then ask me, do I wanna create a new sheet? No, I wanna replace the current sheet because there's nothing in there. And I'm gonna import that data. So now I have my data imported here. This is really important. Do you see where it says that this is negative? Some credit cards give you a negative number on the CSV file. Some of them give you a positive number. I want a positive number. So what I'm gonna do is just use this empty cell, click equals, and then attach the cell that I wanna change. I'm gonna multiply by -1. If you multiply a number by -1, it flips the polarity. So now I have a positive number, and I'm gonna do that for every single one here. So you can see it's flipping them. You can also see in here the automatic payments. I do not wanna include payments in my profit and loss sheet. The profit and loss sheet is not there to keep track of payments. It's to keep track of expenses. So I'm actually gonna go in here, and anytime it says payment, I'm just gonna delete that, okay? Basically, anytime there's a negative number. Actually, in fact, I could delete the entire row to make it a little easier for me in a second. Now, what am I gonna do? I want the post date. So I'm gonna grab this entire section of the column. I'm gonna Command C on my keyboard to copy it. And I'm gonna go over to July, and I'm gonna do Command Shift Option V. That's gonna make the formatting match the formatting that I created. I like my formatting to look really pretty, so there you have it. And now I have all the dates for my transactions. I'm gonna grab the descriptions of my transactions and do the same, Command C, Command Shift V. And then I want the cost, the final part. Remember, I want the cost from the positive number. So I'm gonna do Command C and Command Shift V. Now notice how these are not dollar amounts. I want them to be dollar amounts. So I'm gonna highlight the entire column and just click this little format as currency. And that makes it into a dollar amount, which is exactly what I want for this entire column. Then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna say what tax category is this transaction. Okay, so Facebook advertising, And I already have these pre-populated so that I can simply select from the drop-down list every single time. Advertising, advertising, advertising. I spend a lot on Facebook ads. Lyft Ride is travel. ManyChat is software, etc. So I'm just going to go through this, and I'm going to do this for every single card. Okay, so come back and I'll get it all done. All right, so one of the last things I'm going to do is come into Stripe to get my income information and the Stripe fees associated, because Stripe fees are a business expense and I need to categorize that on my P&L. So I come into reports here, I go to balance summary, and then I literally just wait for it to load. It already smartly knows that I'm probably looking for last month, so it already has the dates in here, but if it doesn't, you can go ahead and add your dates in here. And then here are my Stripe fees right here. Total fees, $3,500. All right, I'm gonna drop those into my P&L under this, and I'm gonna call them July Stripe fees. And then the final thing I'm going to get is all of my payments information. All right, so I'm in the transactions area of Stripe. I'm going to search by date and time, and I'm going to say is between, and again, these are the dates that I'm going to look for, July 1st through July 31st. I'm going to apply. So here are all the transactions. You might see that some have expired or some have failed or some have succeeded. It doesn't matter. We want to download all of them. So I'm going to go to export here and ignore the blur. I just have that for my client's privacy, but I'm going to click export and I'm going to wait for this entire thing to export, and then I'm going to use that to input my income information into the sheet. Okay, so now you can see all of the information from that download is in my spreadsheet. It's really intense, and really I only need a couple things. I need the amount, I need this status, and I need the description. Everything else I can delete, so I'm gonna go ahead and delete all those things and then come back. All right, so I have my 3 columns that matter the most here. I'm gonna turn in this into a dollar amount because I like to see it that way. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna select the entire section of payments, like so, and I'm gonna click this little filter button. I'm gonna click create filter, because what I want to do is I want to say, I only want to see the paid ones. I don't want to see any payment that failed. I only want to see the true payments that came through, because I'm doing my bookkeeping, right? I'm not trying to figure out my churn or anything like that. I'm just trying to figure out what payments landed. And then what I'm going to do is, because I know that my payments are relatively standardized, I can filter by amount, but you could also filter by description. The only problem is sometimes it says it correctly. As you can see, Small Business Money School via Thrivecart. So I know it's Small Business Money School, but sometimes it just says subscription update. And that's a little less clear. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and filter by amount. And I'm going to say, I'm going to clear all this. And I'm going to say, okay, $500, I know that's Small Business Money School. $1,250, all of these random ones I know are Small Business Money School because we have an order bump that you can do. And I know the $1,000 is only 7-figure wealth and that this is my one-on-one client. So I'm going to click OK. And now I can see these are all Small Business Money School payments. I'm going to select the entire column and look down here, and that gives me my total for that offer in this month. So $47,450. I go back over to July. I do Small Business Money School, $47,450. And you might say, Gina, but what about the fee, right? You deleted the fee. I already captured the fee by putting it here under Stripe fees, okay? So now I'm gonna do the same thing. I'm going to clear all. I'm gonna just say the $1,000 payments because I know that's 7-figure wealth. And you can even see it in here. There's some of them that it worked for and some of them that didn't. 35,000, okay, great. So I'm gonna come back up and do 7-figure wealth was 35,000. Then we're gonna go to my, I can do this by memory. I know I have one-on-one client that was 3,333. All right, so that is my total. I had $85,000 of sales in the month of July. And isn't that interesting? Because at the beginning of July, I only had 63,000 on file, meaning that's how much I had expected at the beginning of the month, which means I made over $20,000 this month in cash new sales. So I did a pretty good job of making sure that I increased my profit. Now, We can look at all of the expenses and compare and contrast by going over to my 2025 total sheet. Okay, so now we can see my totals and we can see how much did I spend in advertising in July? $7,700 compared to what I said I was going to spend, $10,000. So I spent less than I budgeted for. I budgeted $3,000 for Stripe fees and I already know I spent more than that. That's a good thing because that means I earned more than I thought. Contractor payments, I budgeted $9,250 and I actually spent $9,800. So I was right on the money in terms of contractor payments. And the reason it's a little off is because I had some extra podcast recordings I did in the studio that cost me a little bit of extra money. Coaching, I budgeted $12,000 and I actually spent, did I spend anything? I think I spent zero. Okay, so I spent way less than I budgeted. Legal fees and accounting services, I had some legal stuff that we did in the month of July. I budgeted $5,000. I actually spent $3,600. So in total, I spent $51,000 on deductible expenses. And that means that the total gross profit left over was $34,724, meaning this month was 40% profitable. I'd like it to be a little higher, but my profitability has gone down since I've put myself on W-2 because my payroll expenses are included in my deductible expenses. So I'm okay with that. And that means that my estimated tax liability, what I need to save for the month of July to be on track for taxes, is an additional $10,417, which means my total tax account should be at $95,000. I have paid some quarterly, so this number is a little off, but if I were just doing it monthly and paying at the end of the year, that is how I would think about it. So I'm going to make sure to move $10,417 into my tax savings. All right, so that is how I do my bookkeeping in about 15 minutes a month. It's really, really simple. I love using my spreadsheets. These are all the spreadsheets that my clients inside Small Business Money School get. We update them every single year. And no, for those of you who are going to ask in the comments, I do not sell them separately, but I love using these spreadsheets. I update them every year. As you can see, I'm on track to earn about $1 million this year in revenue again. And I still do my own bookkeeping because it is quite simple when you have a system like this. So I hope this was helpful. Comment any questions that you have below, and I'll see you guys in the next video.